Good morning and welcome to Morning Movie News and happy Valentine's Day. I hope you have a fun evening planned whether you have a date or not. And I bet those plans involve going to a movie. Yes, this is a big movie-going day for Hollywood. That's why they've released so many films for Valentine's Day. But it's also becoming a big movie-going day in China. Yes, as we've discussed many times here on the show, China is becoming a huge box office powerhouse. And going to the movies has become as regular an occurrence as it has here in the United States. But just like some people don't like being single here on Valentine's Day, it's not the preferred choice to spend it in China either. So to make themselves feel better, a stunt has been organized that was picked up by the Chinese press and that the American press is picking up this morning. So what happened? Well, there was a Weibo post in China that says, "Want to see a movie on Valentine's Day? Well, sorry, you'll have to sit separately. Absence makes the heart grow fonder. Give us singles a chance." What did they mean by that? Well, a whole group of people bought tickets for this big movie that's opening there called Beijing Love Story. It's a spin-off of a very popular Chinese TV show that I believe ended, I guess, in 2012. But they've made a movie version, and it's hotly anticipated, a big Valentine's Day ticket. But a group of singles has decided to buy every odd-numbered seat in the theater because they have assigned seating there, like they do in some theaters here in the United States, so that couples can't sit together. And there was the organizer. He's remained anonymous pretty much, I think, but he told one news outlet that he did it because his girlfriend broke up with him about a year ago, and he didn't know how to spend Valentine's Day by himself, so he thought of this prank. But it's become so popular, I guess it already happened actually, due to the time difference, but so many people were interested in being involved in it, they decided to turn it into a positive thing as well, where they had like a party afterwards or a get-together, so all the singles who participated could, meet up and meet a potential date. So maybe next year on Valentine's Day, they could be upset that they weren't sitting together because some other people who are still single pulled the prank off. But I think it's funny. It also has a little bit of an improv everywhere vibe. So it's nice to see how the world is so big, but yet in some ways we're still so much alike. So I think that's funny. Anyone also, by the way, in Shanghai, did you hear about this? Were you at the movie theater? Write down below what happened. And as I said, it was in a very popular movie theater, like in a shopping center that a lot of people went to. I'm sure in your own town, you know the big movie theaters where if you're going to pull something off, you're going to do a prank, that's where you should go. So I thought that was a funny, cute story for Valentine's Day. All right, so that's the first story of the day. The second story, speaking of China, is that a lot of headlines were made yesterday that Zhang Yimou, I'm trying to make sure I pronounce the name right, I'm sorry if I didn't get it right, but Zhang Yimou, a very well-known, very prestigious Chinese director, has signed on to direct an English language film for a major Hollywood studio. And that is the first time it's ever happened. I think that's really interesting. They said mainland China. I guess they're not including like Hong Kong, for instance. And I guess, the political aspects come into play there. But this is a huge move. And it just continues to show how Hollywood's Valentine is China. So Zhang Yimou, this has been in the works for a little bit because he signed with CAA in 2012 of May, it says. And of course, that was their goal, to get him on a big Hollywood picture. And so what is he directing? It's called, well, first let's talk about Zhang Yimou so you can understand who they've picked here and why it's a worthy choice to be the first director to come over to Hollywood from the Chinese film industry. All right, he directed films that I'm sure you're familiar with, or at least you've heard of. The recent Flowers of War that starred Christian Bale, Hero, Raise the Red Lantern, House of Flying Daggers. He also directed the opening ceremony for the Beijing Olympics. And whenever I hear about the Beijing Olympics, I think of that fantastic joke on 30 Rock that Michael Sheen made when he was talking about Great Britain's apprehension about hosting the Olympics themselves, because they were like, did you see that opening ceremony in China? We don't have that kind of control over our people, because they had that amazing sequence where, you thought it was computer regulated with all these different colored pieces and blocks going up and down to create pictures and waves and shapes. But it turned out it was people just wearing like cardboard. It was phenomenal. It was really an amazing thing to see. So this guy did that. And also his film Zhu Dao was the first Chinese film to ever be nominated for an Oscar back in 1991. So he certainly has the resume. So what gig did he land? It's an interesting gig. It really doesn't seem to be in his wheelhouse, but I think he's positioned to do the best at the box office, because you don't want his film to not succeed. So it's called the Parsifal Mosaic. That's what it is. The Parsifal Mosaic. Boy, are they going to have to change that title. It's by Robert Ludlum, who wrote the Bourne films, or the Bourne novels that became the Bourne films. And true enough, it deals with spies. And the basic setup is this guy is a CIA operative. He's in love with a fellow operative, but then he sees her killed because it turns out she's a double agent for the KGB. And he's just devastated, and he says, I'm out of here. I don't want to be in the CIA anymore. So he says, you know what? I've always wanted to see the world. I'm going to go travel. So he starts traveling, and he goes, so of course, right now you're thinking, great movie. Everyone loves when you go to different exotic locations. So he's traveling around, doing a little bit of also investigating. Was she really KGB? He's checking with some of his contacts. When lo and behold, he gets to Rome, and who does he see on a train station? This woman, and she's not dead. So it's kind of like a thriller mystery with, of course, spies mixed in. Think the Bourne movies meets like The Americans, I guess, on FX. So it sounds interesting, and it sounds maybe it has some good psychological romance aspects, which would be more in this guy's wheelhouse. So we'll see. Interesting. As I said, the Parsifal Mosaic's gotta go. But I'm so interested in the storyline, and especially if it's cast well. So we'll see. I'm sure a lot of actors would love to work with this guy, so he should have a pretty good choice of people. All right, so that's the second story of the day. Now, it's a pretty slow news day with all this horrible weather we've been having and just, this time of year. So I wanted to go back and revisit the Lego movie and talk about something that seems to be an interesting development that I didn't expect. Now, it's continuing to be very successful, and I think it has a good chance to be the #1 movie again this weekend, or at least, second or third place, and certainly beat Winter's Tale and Endless Love. But people are really excited about this movie. People are comparing it to Toy Story. I compared it to Toy Story. I think it's really an excellent film. And so it's really a big topic of discussion. But I'm wondering, is that only among adults? Because this is where things get interesting. I'm kind of curious as to maybe kids don't like this movie. And I'm wondering if others have noticed this as well. Like, for instance, in Variety, one of the reporters there took a Lego champion to go and see the film at an advanced screening. And the kid thought it was only okay. He was not really enthusiastic about it. And then a friend of mine took her friend's kids to the movie, and they were like ages, all pretty young, under 10. And like in the middle of it, one of them asked to leave. I was like shocked. I was like, who would not want to sit through this movie? Who wouldn't be enchanted by the Lego-ness that was unfolding before them, the witty jokes, the humor? And it made me wonder, is this a phenomenon? Is this an animated movie for adults? Is this just something that kids don't want to see? Because I remember going to see Free Birds, and they played a bunch of trailers in front of it, and they played the Lego movie trailer, and all the adults in the theater, you heard like rumblings of like, that looks really good, I want to see it. And then Mr. Peabody and Sherman played afterwards, and you could hear all the kids go, oh, I want to see that movie. So it was like, one was for adults, one was for kids, and I just hadn't seen the child interest in the Lego movie. And now I'm wondering if that's the truth, if that actually happened, and that might actually hurt the film becoming a box office juggernaut like, say, Frozen, which literally does appeal to every age group and demographic under the sun. So I'm curious, how about you? How about the children that you know in your household, or that, friends of friends? Have they liked the Lego movie? Do they like it as much as you do? Or do you think this is this weird thing where plays into nostalgia and, adults, is this really made? Okay, I don't want to ruin the movie for those who have seen it. So spoiler, switch to the viewer question. Skip ahead to the viewer question right now. You've been warned. Okay, it makes me wonder that this movie is really more for the Will Ferrell dad character than for the son character. So I just think that's really interesting, because I had such an intense, wonderful reaction to this movie, President Business, Lord Business, that I got in my mystery pack on Movie Math on Monday. It's like become one of my most prized possessions. I just love it so much. To be fair, I lost almost everything I owned to Mold a few years ago, so he doesn't have to compete with a lot, but still, I love it. And I've actually not been very attached to, material things ever since losing everything, because, it's a weird experience. You just become a lot more, free-floating. You're not into material things, and you have less things. But, this is like the first thing that I've gotten behind and like really cherished. So I'm interested. So I want to know how you guys feel about it. All right, so those are the 3 stories of the day. The viewer question, it's a question, it's a kind of an explanation, but I've been asked it enough times that I wanted to address it today. It's from 1N1N9, or 19 is in the parentheses, very intricate username. And so the person says, hi Grace, Longtime viewer, you're my first choice for movie news. That's so awesome. It means so much, okay? Thank you so much. And so it says, my question or comment is, can we please get some sort of graphics or pictures while you're talking, like right on the side where it says morning movie news, when often you mention people, places, or things, I have no idea what you're talking about. I have to open another window and Google who or what you're talking about. And I know you do it all by yourself, but just a quick pic would do wonders, at least for me. Thanks so much, and here's a smiley face for you. So wonderful, 19. Such a nice question, and I feel so bad. And I've been asked this by a few people, but I wanted to take the moment to explain why there are no pictures in morning movie news. Morning movie news, it seems, it's done all in one take, so it might seem like it's easy to get up, but it's actually a tremendous amount of work. To get morning movie news up on time, which sometimes has been a struggle with me, I basically have to get up at 6 or 6:30 in the morning, get in here, and that's by choosing all the stories the night before and outlining my thoughts on it. And then also if news breaks, for instance, because I'm 3 hours ahead of Los Angeles, stories often break when I've left the office, so like at 10 o'clock at night. So I come in the morning, I have to outline everything, reevaluate what stories should go where, and put it all together. Then I have to film it. And even though it's done in one take, I often have to, do a couple of takes to get into the groove. So it takes about, I'd say, 45 minutes to film morning movie news. Then render times take, I'd say, another 30 minutes to 45 minutes, I guess. And then rendering that to upload takes another 20 minutes. So you're looking, after I've filmed it, at about 2 hours to get it up. So it's really difficult, actually, to get morning movie news on the air every day, just from a technological standpoint, from like the logistics of it. So to add pictures to that, it would just never go up, and I wouldn't be able to create any other content. So I feel really bad that I can't put pictures in here for you, but as you said, it is true. I pretty much do everything on this channel by myself. I am lucky enough to have somebody who helps me edit about half the videos and shoot the green screen portion for me, but as far as everything else goes, and we're talking about also programming decisions, like what's coming up, writing the scripts, grabbing the pictures, doing the editing, going over the edits anyway before they're uploaded, making the thumbnails, writing all the the upload metadata that has to go into a video. Then also handling the videos, all the operational work that goes with the channel, having a channel, responding to comments, which I love doing. I love doing all of this. I'm not complaining. I'm just trying to help you understand or to explain, because I'm glad I make it look so easy, exactly how much work this is and why adding pictures to this would just make it impossible, and I just wouldn't be able to do the show every day. So I feel so bad, but hopefully maybe it's like a good way to train your mind so that eventually the more you watch morning movie news, you'll just be able to know what I'm talking about off the top of your head. You'll be like, oh yeah, I'm totally familiar with that. Try and get to that Zen movie news place. So I understand the problem, and I feel bad I can't do anything about it. Maybe someday, but not in the near future. So I apologize, and I hope that you will continue to watch it, and I appreciate you're doing that extra work yourself, and for being so engaged. So thank you, 19. Thank you for your question. Thank you for the smiley face, and I hope you understand my answer. All right, thank you everybody for tuning in. More episodes coming up later today, including a review of The Wind Rises, phenomenal film. So write down below your thoughts on today's 3 stories, what movie you're seeing for Valentine's Day, and anything you'd like to see, any questions you'd like answered on Monday. All right, thanks for watching. Bye.